Well, you said no one shakes hands with him, but we see that he manages to create, perhaps, say, situational alliances in high politics. Now we see that they choose Slovakia as their situational comrades. How did this happen, in your opinion? Do you see any objective and subjective reasons for this? How close is this union, and how much can it play a cruel joke to the European Union?
Well, I think that Orban has recently lost a very strong ally in the European Union. It's Law and Justice, PIS party in Poland. By the way, Orban's people conducted an election campaign in Poland. It was he who sent his people there for consultations to manage companies for PIS party. This was also on purpose, but still he couldn't manage to do what he did in Hungary. Back to Slovakia, it is not so much about Slovakia as about Fico himself. Orban's relationship was not accidental, since he probably feels so close. I wouldn't even call it spirituality. Well, probably close perception as Fico. And indeed, they have a good relationship with Fico, but Fico, unlike Orban, doesn't have systemic hatred towards Ukraine. In Brussels, when the issue of blocking and voting for Ukraine recently came up, Orban spoke out clearly against any compromise. And Fico said that he believes that money can be given to Ukraine. The only thing is that it is necessary to resolve issues or guarantees regarding corruption, that this money will not be used in corruption schemes. I think that this is not such a strong ally for Orban. In addition, there is a very strong contradiction at the state level between Slovakia and Hungary. There are currently 400,000 ethnic Hungarians living in Slovakia. And what's interesting is that these ethnic Hungarians didn't vote for Hungarian parties, as happens in Transcarpathia. They voted for Slovak parties. Plus, Slovakia has categorically banned dual citizenship. Hungarian citizenship and the majority of Hungarians in Slovakia, they mostly have Slovak citizenship. In addition, just recently even Seattle was offended that military exercises were being held close to the Hungarian border. And the Slovaks said, this is Slovakia and we can conduct exercises wherever we want.
I just remember how much misunderstanding and negativity there was. And here are such harsh statements regarding dual citizenship on our territory, bordering the coastline, Transcarpathian region. Yes, from the Hungarian side. But we see that in Slovakia, no one presented their position towards our internal policy and understanding of how interactions with the authorities should take place within our society as they allow themselves from Hungarian side. So that is, they perceived is normally and adequately that Slovakia has the right to decide how it internally establishes contacts with its minorities, with the communities and so on. This is fine. Do you think that after the war the situation should be and might be changed? Because I see that the Secretary of State of Hungary once again declares, as I understand it, now there's a war in Ukraine, so the country will be admitted to the European Union, then the war will be transferred to the community, and a significant part of the European Union resources will also go to Ukraine. You talked about this, and then he said that he again remembered about the oppression of the rights of the Hungarian community, that is, he again began to pull this threat. I think that already during this war, all these claims, they had already settled down. Or no, why Slovakia can do what they want, but not Ukraine?
I'll tell you more that today the leadership of Ukraine is already making a compromise regarding the Hungarian community in Transcarpathia. Although I will say that this is not worth of talks, because there are absolutely no oppression of the Hungarian or other national minority in Ukraine, and there has never been any. My native language is Hungarian and speak Hungarian when I want, where I want. When I read or write Hungarian books and read in Hungarian, I speak exclusively to my son and family in Hungarian. In Transcarpathia, when I go wherever I want, I speak Hungarian there. Therefore, this is purely politicking on the part of Orban to use such a card regarding national minorities, the Hungarian national minorities. And by the way, in quotes, thanks to Orban, the Hungarian minority in Transcarpathia will soon disappear. 20 years ago, there were 154,000 Hungarians in Transcarpathia. Today there are less than 100,000 people. Not because of the war. Even before the war, a significant part of the Hungarians left Transcarpathia for Hungary. Why? Because the population spoke and speaks, those who remained exclusively in the Hungarian language and not knowing the Ukrainian language. They were unable to integrate into Ukraine and completely became such a lost generation, starting from early 90s to present days. They are cheap labor for Orban, and he used them for this because he got cheap labor, plus the electorate. I think the solution here is very simple. There needs to be more Ukrainian Transcarpathia in the Transcarpathian region, more media, much more than Hungarian media. Indeed, to encourage the local population to study in Ukrainian schools, because today it's getting ridiculous that in many villages of the Beregovsky district, Uzhgorodsky district, in Mukachevo, there are no Ukrainian classes in the villages. Only Hungarian classes. Orban pays parents to send their children over there, officially pays. Each parent receives 10,000 hryvnia per year for each child so that they go only to a Hungarian school, where all subjects are taught exclusively in Hungarian. And look, when local deputies in Bergovo started talking about how let us also create an incentive so that parents, those who send their children through Ukrainian classes, also receive an appropriate reward, officially, the information immediately came to Sierto. And Sierto said that this is simply unacceptable because it threatens the existence of Hungarians in Transcarpathia. Seriously, this really is and was such a fact. Therefore, the most important thing is that there really should be more Ukraine, more purely Ukrainian investments, and work with local authorities.
This is what it says about oppression. Something that doesn't really exist. I just have a question that is always logical when they demand something from our side in this regard, in our territory. I have just a simple question. How many Ukrainian schools have been opened and built in Hungary for representatives of the Ukrainian national minority?
0.